For several months now, we have heard Bryan Kohberger compared to one of the most infamous serial killers, from sharing a degree in criminology to both being 28 years old when they allegedly committed their first murders, both of them quadruple homicides. And now today, another eerie similarity took place in the Latah County Court, making us wonder, is Bryan Kohberger modeling himself after Dennis Rader, who was the BTK killer? I mean, when BTK did his arraignment back in 2005, it was not on camera, but I want to show you the newspaper headlines and how those newspaper headlines were so incredibly similar. It said, "Judge enters not guilty plea for BTK suspect." And then the headlines already from the Wall Street Journal are looking very similar for covering BK, not BTK, BK. Look how this morphs. Judge enters not guilty pleas for suspect in stabbing deaths of 4 University of Idaho students. I want to bring in Robin Dreeke. Robin is a retired FBI special agent. He's head of the Counterintelligence Behavioral Analysis Program. Robin, the similarities are, I mean, they're freakish, really. I'm not going to lie. I'm just wondering if there's some kind of strategy playing out here, given the fact that he refused to enter a plea, just like BTK refused to enter a plea, and then all those other similarities, too. Is this like a playbook that Kohberger might be following?
Maybe. You know, he probably learned a lot about him and other defendants like this, so it was probably in his mind, as well as his defense lawyers. So I think that's probably part of their strategy. And it's interesting because if you're going to try to save someone's life, this has a precedent of trying to do it.
So let me ask you something else. This was something that came up a while back that began to link these two people together, and that is that Bryan Kohberger studied under a forensic psychologist named Catherine Ramsland. He took her classes. Catherine Ramsland also communicated with Dennis Rader back and forth while he was in prison and wrote a book about him. It's entirely possible that Kohberger, read those books and then took her class. So do you see that there's some, I mean, I hate to say, look at all these coincidences, Robin, because I'm just not a big fan of a whole lot of coincidences. I'm okay with one or two.
Yeah, coincidences in law enforcement and generally in life generally are linking things together. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he is modeling some of these things after those things. The thing that always is still striking me about Kohberger more and more, and even in court today, he baselined out. Yes, he's showing some stress in his jawline, and he looked like he had a dry mouth from some stress, but it baselined the entire time. He still looked like a student getting a report card on an exam he just took. And it was, I mean, the judge was more impacted by this than him. It looked like it for me anyway. And so it just really struck me that he's a student, and BTK, he had it down. That guy was a lot more professional at the end when it came to learning how to kill people. And unfortunately, that ended not good for all his victims, but hopefully this one will end better.
Well, within 2 months, BTK went from that, I'm not answering in his arraignment to I'm pleading guilty to all 10. And I don't know if that'll happen with Bryan Kohberger. Something tells me it won't. But Robin Dreeke, come back again. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.